Hands up, don't move a muscle. That was the first thing I heard that Sunday afternoon, my tackle box still in my hand, the lake glinting behind me, my daughter standing barefoot on the driveway with a towel around her waist, and 10 feet away, Karen Carter, president, self-appointed, of our so-called homeowners association, pointing a gun straight at her. She had no idea that the woman she was aiming at was the county sheriff. That day didn't come out of nowhere. It started 2 months earlier when I thought I'd finally found peace. After 42 years as a civil engineer, I'd traded traffic noise and deadlines for pine trees and loons. The cabin on Silver Lake wasn't fancy. 2 bedrooms, sagging porch of view that looked hand-painted, but it was ours. Linda and I used to joke that we didn't buy a house, we bought the porch, the dock, and the quiet that came with them. For the first 2 weeks, life was perfect. Then one morning I heard the whine of a small engine outside. A white golf cart came tearing up the gravel road, strobe light flashing like a cop car. Out steps this woman, mid-50s, helmet bob haircut, mirrored sunglasses, navy vest labeled community security. She marches straight up our lawn, clipboard in hand. "Welcome to the Silver Lake Community Association," she says like she's announcing a royal decree. "I'm Karen Carter, president. Annual dues are $600. Sign and return the form within 30 days. I told her politely that the realtor never mentioned an HOA. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Of course there's one," she said. "How else do you think we keep things orderly?" I thanked her, promised to look it over, and she drove off, cutting straight across Linda's flower bed. That should have been my first clue. That night I read the bylaws. 2 things jumped out. 1, the president could issue fines without board approval. 2, it claimed jurisdiction over all adjoining shoreline lots. Our deed clearly said, exempt platted 1978. We weren't even part of their development, so I wrote a nice polite letter declining membership. 2 days later I found a white envelope under my windshield wiper. First notice of violation, $50 fine for unapproved landscaping materials. Translation: the stack of cedar boards beside my garage. The next week another envelope, trash can placement. After that noise complaint, I wasn't sure whether to laugh or boil. Linda told me to ignore her, but I started a folder anyway, Carter file. Every letter, every photo, every note. But Karen wasn't satisfied with paper. Her golf cart started appearing across from our driveway, engine idling, clipboard ready. She'd sit there for an hour, sunglasses fixed on our porch. Linda once walked over with 2 glasses of iced tea. Karen didn't even turn her head. "I'm on patrol," she said flatly. "I don't accept beverages while on duty." The untouched glass sat there until the ice melted into nothing. That's when I realized we weren't dealing with a nosy neighbor. We were dealing with a control freak in full uniform fantasy. Then she brought back up a bald guy named Ray, arms like tree trunks, tattoos creeping up his neck. Security support, she called him. He never spoke, just stared. It was intimidation, plain and simple. By the time Emily, our daughter, came up for the summer, Linda and I were worn thin. Emily had just been elected sheriff of the county, the youngest in history, and I hated the thought of dumping this nonsense on her. But she noticed. "Dad," she said, flipping through my growing Carter file, "she's not just eccentric. She's harassing you. Install a camera. Keep documenting. Don't take the bait." I promised I would. And for a while I tried to believe that being quiet would make her go away. Then came my 60th birthday cookout. Friends, neighbors, my grandkids running barefoot in the grass. It was the first afternoon I'd felt normal again, until I heard that engine. Karen's golf cart flew around the bend, strobe, flashing, blocking my friend's car in the driveway. "Noise violation," she barked. "Unauthorized guest vehicles. Maximum 4 per property." I walked up, keeping my voice calm. "Karen, you're blocking county road access. Move your vehicle," she snapped. "This road belongs to the association," which was a lie. Emily stepped in wearing jeans and a soft blue t-shirt. "Which county ordinance are we breaking?" she asked. Karen blinked, thrown off. "It's not an ordinance, it's a bylaw." "Then it doesn't apply," Emily said evenly. "My parents aren't members." For once, Karen had no answer. She muttered something, took a photo of my friend's license plate, and drove off. But the message was clear. She'd just been publicly challenged, and she wasn't going to forget it. A week later, I got an official letter from the county zoning office. A complaint had been filed accusing me of building an unpermitted shoreline structure. The structure in question, our 50-year-old dock. I spent 2 days digging through old boxes, pulling out survey maps, invoices, permits dating back to the 1970s. I mailed a 10-page rebuttal with every document attached. 2 weeks later, the county dismissed the complaint as baseless. Karen wasn't just nosy, she was weaponizing bureaucracy. I remember sitting on the porch that night, watching the moon on the lake, feeling like the dream we'd worked for 20 years was slipping through my fingers. For a moment, I wondered if maybe I was the problem, if refusing to join had somehow provoked all this. Maybe paying the stupid $600 would have been easier. But then I looked at the folder in my hands, at the signatures, the false claims, the harassment, and I thought about the kind of world my grandkids would inherit if people like her were never challenged. That's when the engineer in me woke up. Facts could fight bullies. Paperwork could cut as sharp as any weapon. The next weekend, Emily came back. "Dad," she said, "I had my staff check the state records. Silver Lake HOA lost its nonprofit status 18 months ago. It doesn't legally exist." I nearly dropped my coffee. "You're telling me she's been collecting money for a phantom association?" "Exactly," Emily said. "That's fraud." So I wrote a letter 3 pages, calm and factual. I laid out the state records proving the HOA's dissolution, the missing snowplow contracts, the unaccounted dues. I sent copies to every homeowner in the area, 40 of them certified mail. I even sent one to Karen's P.O. box. Then I waited. For 2 days, the neighborhood was silent. No golf cart, no notes, no glare through mirrored lenses. Then, on Sunday afternoon, I heard that whine again. Her cart came flying across our lawn gravel, spraying yellow light, spinning like a beacon of rage. She jumped out, face red, waving my letter. "You!" she screamed. "How dare you spread lies about me?" I stepped off the porch. "Karen, you're trespassing. Leave our property." "This is my community," she shrieked. "I built it. I protect it. You're destroying it." Her voice cracked high and raw. Down by the dock, Emily was drying off the kids wrapped in a towel. She said something to Mark and started walking up the slope toward us. Karen's hands were shaking. She jabbed her finger at me, voice quivering. "You think you're so clever, turning my neighbors against me. You'll regret this." "All I did was tell them the truth," I said. That was it. The moment the mask cracked, she let out a jagged laugh, reached behind her vest, and pulled a black semi-automatic pistol. The world went still. She leveled it at Emily. "Hands up," she screamed. "You're trespassing on private community property. I'm making a citizen's arrest." Linda gasped from the porch. Mark froze halfway up the hill. I couldn't move. But Emily did. Calm as a stone. She raised her hands just high enough to show her palms. "Ma'am," she said, voice steady, carrying across the yard, "my name is Emily Reed. I'm the elected sheriff of Willow County. You're committing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Put the gun down. Now." Karen blinked. "Sheriff." "In a bathing suit," she spat. "Nice try." Then came the faint sound of sirens far away but growing louder. Emily didn't even glance toward them. "This is your last chance, Karen. Drop it." The yellow light from the cart pulsed across Karen's face. Her knuckles whitened, then trembled. I held my breath. The sirens were close now, close enough that even she could hear the difference between fantasy and reality. Finally, her arm sagged. The pistol slipped from her hand and clattered onto the asphalt. At that same moment, 2 sheriff's cruisers swung around the bend, lights flashing across the trees. The deputies jumped out. "Sheriff, you all right?" one called. "I'm fine," Emily said. "Secure the weapon. Take this individual into custody." Karen's mouth fell open. "But I'm the president," she whispered as the deputy turned her around and clicked the cuffs over her wrists. The metal echoed across the lake. As they led her toward the cruiser, she looked back at me, eyes wet, desperate. For the first time, I didn't see the self-appointed ruler of Silver Lake. I saw a woman whose imaginary kingdom had just crumbled in broad daylight. The deputies bagged the pistol, noted the golf cart's illegal strobe light, and drove away with her in the back seat. The yellow flash disappeared into the trees. The air smelled like rain and gun oil and pine. That's where the story ends for me, not with champagne or victory, but with silence. The kind of silence you don't realize you've missed until it comes back. And if I learned anything from that long, absurd summer, it's this: peace doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means standing your ground when the bully brings a clipboard, a golf cart, and a gun.